Hi everyone. So patrons, I wanted to do this video for the end of the month, so that way I'm keeping track of all of my either DNFs or books that I really just wasn't a huge fan of for the month of January. So that way I don't have to do like a yearly video where it's like 2 hours long, I don't have to do like this huge video. I figured at the end of the year, when it comes to my wrap up for my regular videos, my YouTube videos, that I would probably just do the same thing as I did like the year before, where it made me stick into maybe like 10 or so of books that I read that were kind of like the worst books I read of the year, or the ones that I really just didn't like, disappointing. So this one here for January, I decided to try to delve back into Helena Hunting. I'm not really a big fan of her writing. I liked Pucked, the first book. And there was a few other ones that I thought were okay, but I'd say like overall, never really was a huge, when I look back and I'm like, I never really was a huge fan of Helena Hunting. I'd say there was only one book that I really enjoyed from her, and there really wasn't much of anything else. Though, like, I delved into that original series of her, that Pucked series, and there were other books I read from her that were like, okay, but I never really was a huge fan of hers. So I tried to delve back into this series. I tried to delve into this series here, which is basically the spin-off series of the Puck series. So the first one I ended up reading was If You Want Me, or no, this was not the first book. This was actually the second book. That's right. This was the second book I ended up delving into, because the first one I read, this one here is a DNF. So this one here is the Toronto Terror book number 2. So I had said, was not a fan of this. I need to have it to where I think the younger person in the relationship is mature enough for the relationship with the older adult. So I said the guy she was dating was 33. He wasn't like an old dude. The guy was 33, she was 21. So I'm like, it wasn't like a huge age gap, I said they only had a 13-year age gap, which isn't bad as long as both parties are of legal age, of course, But she was very immature. I said, too immature for that man. I said, also, it was just about sex. I didn't feel the chemistry between the characters. I said, I need to feel the romance, but I didn't. And yeah, this was like another one of those cases to where I felt like it was overly sexualized, like it was just about the sex. And it's like, where's the feeling in this? Where's the romance? Where's the angst? Where's the, where's the growth between the characters? Because you had her, who was this, young 20-year-old, 21-year-old college student, and her father, I can't remember again. Was he okay, her father was like a goalie on the hockey team. Obviously her father had her when he was young, when he was like really young, like he obviously knocked up one of the Puck Bunnies or whoever it was, when they're very young. So her father's only in his 40s, So like I said, he had her very young. And obviously the mother decided not to really stick around. So he had, or I'd say like the mother was kind of a flake. She's kind of like I'd say like a modern day hippie, where it's like she likes to go on to these retreats and do all this other stuff. So, I mean, she has like a good relationship with her mom, but it's more of like she has a better relationship with her father. Like she's more close with her dad. And through most of the book, she was not telling her dad that she was, one, interested in his best friend, which is another player on the hockey team. She didn't tell her father through most of the book that she had a thing for him. Didn't go and let him know that they were, flirting with each other and stuff like that. It was a lot of it was flirting. But like I said, it was very much sex focused, like, oh, he's so hot, kind of thing. I want to go and have sex with him, and she's so beautiful. I just want to go and have sex with her. I felt like the heroine was very immature, and it's like, if you're gonna have it to where it's an age gap, and like I said, it's not even a huge age gap. It's only 13 years. That's not big, It's not like I'm like, he wouldn't. He's not having kids at 13. So I mean, like I said, it's not an age gap to where he's old enough to be her father, unless he's screwing girls at like 12 or 13. It's only a 13-year age gap, so it's not that big a deal. But the heroine was so like immature to me. It just mentally immature, that I just had a hard time with it. So that's why I ended up DNFing it, because I was just like, this girl's just way too immature for me. And I'm like, I felt like he was too mature for her, like I said, not too old, but too mature for her. Like, he's lived longer than her. He's had more experience, I definitely had more experience in the bedroom too. But yeah, I just was not feeling this one here. So I tried to go into the third book of the series, and I basically just skimmed through that one right there. As soon as I started reading the beginning part, I was like, I'm not feeling this. So I ended up DNFing this one really quick, and ended up skimming the rest of it just to see what happened. So this is If You Need Me by Helena Hunting. So we've got a heroine who's a, plus size, but she was a bitch. I really could not stand her. I said I couldn't get through this. I didn't understand the heroine's continuous dislike of the hero. He teased and bullied her when he was a teenager. I said, okay, so people can't grow up and mature? So I said, people can't change their behavior? So I was like, go to therapy, lady, because she had a lot of deep-seated issues where she was like, oh, he bullied me for years. And I'm like, but he was a kid when he did it. He was a teenager when he did it. People can't grow and change. Why don't you, keep yourself hesitant when you talk to this person, but then when they don't act the same way around you that they did before, you can realize, oh, this person grew up. She continuously treated him like garbage. This man would have licked her feet. He would have licked her feet. He did everything that she wanted him to do. She was basically like a manager, PR person, or whatever it was. And whatever she wanted him to do, he did. He was obsessed with her. He was in love with her. For years, he's been in love with her. He didn't know how to act around her when he was younger and dumb. Because most boys, when they're kids and teenagers, they don't know what these feelings are that they have for this girl. All I know is this girl's cute and I like her, but I don't know how to express it, and I don't know how to talk to her, so I'm going to go and yank her hair or do whatever, Boys do stupid stuff like that. Is it good behavior? No. Boys should learn there's different ways that you can go and talk to a girl without, teasing and bullying and things like that, Especially because girls tend to be more sensitive when it comes to stuff like that, It's not like it is with guys. Guys can rib other dudes, and it's not you wouldn't say it's bullying. It's more of you tease each other. Guys can tease other guys and it's okay. It's a difference between bullying. Bullying is more, when it comes to guys, it's more physical. If you're really pushing this person around and doing, that's when this person's bullying another male. Where with female, it's mental. You know, like, we do psychological warfare on other women. That's how we fuck with women. We fuck with women's heads. When you're a female, you fuck with another woman's head. And I'm like, I never, you know, I've never been a fan of that. You know, like, to me, I'm like, just talk to this person instead of like trying to mentally manipulate them and bully them that way. Yeah. Guys bullying girls is a whole different experience than girls bullying other girls. It's a different thing. I would rather have a dude bully me over a chick because women are more vindictive. So for me, I really felt like she kept this grudge for him too long, for the fact that it's like he's a grown-ass adult now. It's like he's got a different like attitude with her, you know? And he get like at the beginning of the book, he had like this anxiety boner, you know, like every time she like told him what to do, it like turned him on, you know? And it's like, lady, you can't see like this effect this guy has on you. So it said he was a whipping boy because he kept showing her how he felt about her. It was written all over his face. How she was shocked by this when he told her how he felt just shows how self-entitled she was. I said, a bully doesn't bend over backwards to accommodate you constantly, yet he did. He's a sweetheart that was dumb when he was younger, and he didn't know how to express his feelings when he was a child. I said, oh my God, what a shock. And so I said, I'm done with this author's books. This one here, I was just like, I can't continue with this author's books, where it's like, you know, come on. You know, this storyline, are you telling me that she doesn't see, she's so self-absorbed with her own fucking shit, her own insecurities, that she cannot see this fucking dude right in front of her who would bend over backwards to help her? She doesn't see this. And it's like, there's a way that you can go and have a man at your knees without manipulating him, without abusing him. Those guys will go down their knees willingly if you just pay attention to him. If you just go and stroke his head and tell him he's pretty. Believe me, there are men out there who will be lapdogs to you. You don't have to do much to show them that you appreciate them, and they will bend over backwards for you. There are men like that. You know, you just go and just stroke their ego. They're with you for forever. And especially when you feed them. Oh my God, you know, feed a man and he will latch on to you forever, you know? So to me, it's like, for me, it's so easy just to treat a man with respect, you know? And then it's like, oh wow, this guy does all this stuff for you. Rather than you treat him like shit, you know? Guys eventually wake up and they're like, this bitch is crazy. I don't want to deal with her shit anymore. And they leave. And they find some other woman who treats them better. My husband's ex-wife, cunt. She's a cunt. Huge. See you next Tuesday. She treated him like shit. I come around, I treat him with respect, latched on to me forever. I didn't have to do much. And I still don't have to do much. You know, I treat him with respect. You know, I think of him and I get things for him, and he's happy. He's happy. Just recently I went and I bought him some peanut brittle because I know he likes peanut brittle. And he was like, who do I need to kill? You know, that's what he tells me. You know, who do I need to kill? So I don't have to do much for him, and he's happy. Because that's what girls can do. That's what women can do, you know? You just go and do things for him. Show them that you appreciate him, and he's happy. Men are simple. Women are so fucking complicated. I swear. This is why I'm so glad I was not born a dude, because I don't think I could handle women if I was a dude and I was straight. I'd be like, man, I'm going to be single forever. Because a lot of women are a pain in the ass. So, I felt sorry for that dude. I really did. Anyways, the first book I ended up reading from her for the series, it was okay. This one is If You Hate Me. So I managed to finish this one. So we got the characters of Beatrix. Most of throughout the book, her nickname is Rix. Why would you call her Rix when her fucking name is Beatrix? Usually, with a name like Beatrix, you have two nicknames for that name. You either have B-E-A, or Trix, or Trixie. Why would you go by Rix? What, Helena Hunting? What's with these stupid fucking nicknames? It was a dumbass nickname. And Tristan, who was her brother's best friend, would call her B. You know, after a while, he started calling her B. Which I'm like, makes sense, because her name's fucking Beatrix, you know? So it's a hate to love, forced proximity, super spicy, lots of sex scenes in this. I said some kink / light BDSM. So Beatrix asks her brother Philip, he goes by Flip. Why would you call him Flip? Again, his name's Philip, why not Phil? So Beatrix asks her brother Philip if she can move in with him and his roommate / best friend Tristan until she can get a new job, an apartment. Her brother agrees, and as soon as she moves in, Tristan isn't happy at all. The hostility between Tristan and Beatrix is strong until one day Tristan and Beatrix kiss, and then it gets to the point where they agree to be fuck buddies while they keep Philip from knowing. I'd say about 60% in, I think. That's when I think it was like 60 to 70% in. That's when Philip ends up finding out that they're fucking, you know? So I said, what I disliked with this book, so I ended up giving it a 3. So 1, I felt like the hate Tristan had for Beatrix was dumb. He really disliked her because he was jealous of her relationship with her parents, because Tristan's mother abandoned him and his two brothers when Tristan was 8 years old. I said their father took over the raising of them alone, so his hatred for her was his own insecurities. And I was just like, why are you hating this girl? Because she was like following you guys around when you were... That's what little girls do. When they have like when a bigger brother, a lot of times the little, sisters try to follow around their bigger brothers. So 2, I really didn't like Flip. He was an idiot. I said the fact that his sister was living with him and he proceeds to bring woman after woman after woman, sometimes multiple women, home to his place to where Beatrix has to wear earplugs so she doesn't hear the constant sex. This dude, every time you saw him, he had a new fucking chick. And I'm like, why are you such a whore, dude? Why are you such a whore? Why are you doing this to yourself? Bringing chick after chick after chick home to bang out. And I'm like, really? Why? I don't get it. Especially when one of the reasons why she has to wear earplugs, when she moved out of her last place, was because her roommates would constantly have sex out in the living room. So her brother constantly doing it didn't make her living situation any better. I said, that isn't respecting your sibling living with you. I said, the dude makes millions, so are you telling me that he can't rent a hotel room to do his sexcapades in so he doesn't bother his sister? I said, come on, dude. He was such a man whore. I said, 3, there was a 3rd act breakup in here and then another separation, which was stupid because Tristan was a dumbass and needed therapy. I said, thankfully he did get therapy at the end of the book because he honestly needed it. And that's why I ended up giving it a 3, because I'm like, you had 2 separations in this fucking book. And then like I said, most of it, he just had this attitude with her, this nastiness. And I'm like, she's going to give it back to him. And I'm like, of course, if you're being rude to her, if somebody's being rude to me, I'm going to be fucking rude just as back to you because you're being rude to me. So my rude is going to out-rude your rude. So yeah, I just was like, are you kidding me? I did not like his attitude. I'd say like I'm not a fan of the trope hate to love because I really don't want these people to hate each other. I don't mind like dislike or maybe like you judge this person based on something stupid, and then once you get to know this person, like really get to know them, you're like, oh wow, I misjudged this person. I would rather have like misjudgment to love or something like that, or dislike, to love. I hate this like hate to love where they feel like that these characters really need to hate each other. No, I don't, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of that. So yeah, that's what I ended up trying to get through for the month of January, was those ones right there. And, I'd say when I got to the third one, I'm like, it's basically said to myself, I'm like, man, now you're being a glutton for punishment, because I'm like, why do you keep going into these? So I was like, so I ended up like getting into a different book that was another hockey book, but this author was better, so it just kind of like shows like, the different types of authors there are out there when they go and do sports romance and stuff like that. Some of them do really well when it comes to like, the sport and the romance. And then there's some that just kind of like fail a lot. And I have to say, like, as the years have progressed when it comes to Helena Hunting, I don't really care for her books, I don't really like her books. So yeah, I mean, I like I said, there's pretty much only that one that I really enjoyed from her, which was the first book I read from her, which was Pucked. And all the other ones have kind of like mediocre, like, She's almost kind of like a one-hit wonder for me. So yeah, I won't be reading, this is like the second chance I've, given that author, So I'm kind of like, nah. I mean, I've tried reading like how many other books from hers, when it came to like the Puck series and all that stuff. And I was just like, you know what, she's just not for me. I don't really feel like the love between these characters. It's just mainly about banging it out with these characters, and it's like, no, I want to see like the love. I want to see this connection with these characters, and I just didn't feel that with any of these books, like I said, that first one I thought was like okay, it wasn't great, I did have like a good amount of issues with it, especially it's like you have your sister living with you. Isn't it kind of weird to have her like hear you having sex with like all these women? That's kind of creepy, It's like, dude, why would you want your sister to hear you banging it out with all of these women? That's like, I don't know, that's some like weird incestuous shit, going on there, where I'm like, I don't even like. I mean, at one time I lived with my uncles, which are close in my age. Like my two younger uncles, they're almost like big brothers, because my mother was born when my grandmother was 20. And then my grandmother had the last two children, because she had 5 children. And all 3 of them are like, fairly close together in age. Like my mom's 1956, my aunt is 1958. I think my uncle, the oldest uncle, I think he's like 62 or 63, 1962. And then there was a big gap. And And so I think so, because my one uncle's like 1975 and my youngest uncle's 1976. I'm 1977. So, like I said, I got 3 and 4 years between them. So, like I said, they're almost like older brothers. And so when I was living with them, in my grandmother's house, after my grandmother passed away, if I would have like heard one of my uncles like doing it with their girlfriend in their room, I'd be like, you know, I would definitely not be, you know, go to hippie, please, you know, like rocking back and forth and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that. I would be like freaking out, man. I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to leave. I'm going to go somewhere else because I don't want to hear it. They did not have anything like that in their room. If they did, they were so quiet I didn't hear anything, you know? So, I mean, ew. Ew. So, you know, like for me, I'm just like, how could you be like her brother, like her biological brother, and you're doing it constantly with these chicks, and your sister is sleeping up in your loft area where she can hear you having sex with these other chicks? And I'm like, isn't that weird? That's just kind of, that's weird. That's a little weird. You got a little bit too close to her, man. And so, yeah, I just like, you know? So, yeah, for me, I was just like, that brother's fucking weird, man. I'm like, he's got some fucking issues. Like, and like, they had a good home life, so I really don't understand, like, why the brother was such a fucking whore, you know? I just didn't understand. I'm like, man, you got, like, a sex addiction or something you need to, like, address or something, you know? And so when it came to, like, the other books, they still had the character of Flip in there, but I guess he was like toning down his banging it out with every chick he saw, because it was bad for his like reputation, because, you know, he was getting sponsors, and it's like, sponsors are not going to sponsor you when you look like a fucking whore going out and collecting every girl and doing all this stuff with them, and you know about it. So it's like, yeah, sponsors, you know, some of them are really like conservative leaning. So it's like, you're going to go and be a sponsor for like milk or something that is like mostly like a target toward kids. And then you're going to end up finding out like this person here who's a player in hockey is like a total whore. Yeah, it doesn't really help your image. So yeah, for me, I was just like, dude, get your shit together. Because it's like, you got millions of dollars, and it's like, one way, it's like, I understood like the heroine in that book, because she, her and her brother grew up poor, so it's like they knew what it was like to struggle, and so I'm like, I completely understood like her character when it came to her, because it's like, I know what it's like to grow up and like, oh, well, what am I going to eat today? And, you know, try to put something together that you can like put in your system and eat, you know, because it wasn't about healthy. It was about, what can I eat so I'm not starving, you know? That's what, you know, so my food choices when I was younger were not like super healthy options. This is why I ended up like, you know, I'm fucking fat. I'm a fat ass. Because, you know, you grow up with like not healthy choices, just something that's going to fill your belly so you're not hungry anymore. So now, like for me, now that I'm older and, you know, I've gained all this weight, you know, now I have diabetes and everything like that. So I have to like watch my weight and watch what I eat. So it's, you know, it's a transition to change over, you know? So for me, I'm like, I get why the heroine was the way she was, but I really just I didn't understand her brother. And I was like, why are you this way, dude? Why are you acting this way? It's weird. It was just weird. But yeah, that's it for this video here. Have yourselves a good day. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you all on the next Patreon video. All right. Bye.